The Canadian Library is a grassroots art installation project making its way across Canada and acts as a memorial for all missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two Spirit people.
The Canadian Library Project is an art installation initiative that I started with about six other women a year and a half ago. We decided to start this around the time when a lot of the remains of the children were being found in the residential schools, and also a lot more awareness was being created around the missing and murdered Indigenous women as well. And we wanted to help start these important conversations and educate Canadians and newcomers and visitors to this country who really didn't know much about the true history of Canada. I think for anybody that moves to a country, I think to understand first how Canada came about and what it used to be called, Turtle Island, for instance, and also the history and the injustices that exist even to today within this country. I think it's very important that we understand, because only through understanding and conversation will we be able to affect any positive change in the future.
We're really excited to be partnering with this project and getting a micro gallery of our own set up here at the museum. They are trying to bring attention to the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirited people across Canada, and doing it in a way that's accessible to all folks, so they can come and wrap books in Indigenous fabrics. Some of them will have names of some of the folks who have been murdered or gone missing, and represent a little bit about their stories. You can find more details on their website about the individuals being highlighted in this project. And then these micro galleries are going to be up all across Canada, and now we'll have three within the town of Lincoln, two of our libraries and one here at the museum.
The goal is to cover 8,000 books in Indigenous fabric as a testament to the lives lost.
We started off running a red dress project. What we found when we were doing that was some of the posters and imagery that we were using was very harsh, and people were getting a little bit disturbed by some of the stories in a good way, not in a bad way, but in a good way. And we thought if there was a softer approach that we could find that would be able to make people want to learn more, want to delve deeper, and also help with conversations with very young children too, then we'd be able to start creating that change and that education from a much younger age, which I think is extremely important. And then we realized that with every missing and murdered woman and child, they all have a story, and their families really wanted their stories to be told. And they continue to want their stories to be told today, so that people remember what has happened, and only by remembering what has happened can we prevent anything from similar happening in the future. We decided that with a story comes a book. Now, how can we create a story using books to start these important conversations? So we brainstormed. We looked into anything and everything that was Indigenous, artifacts and crafts, and we found so many beautiful fabrics, which I didn't know existed. So I thought, what a great way if we could use the fabrics with the books and create some sort of an art installation that would then sort of make people realize and that every person had a story by using these books and fabric, that we could start to travel with this and create programming sessions and educational tools. So after a bit of brainstorming, we realized that if we covered books in Indigenous fabric and then placed the names of the missing and murdered Indigenous women and children on the spines to represent that that book holds a story, that we would then be able to come up with a beautiful art installation, which we have.
The Canadian Library is a living art installation intended to educate Canadians on the true history of Canada and the inequalities that still exist today. For more information, visit their website at thecanadianlibrary.ca. In Jordan, reporting for The Source, I'm Anne-Marie Zamet.